Oh, wake up, eggs and bakey. We're so glad that you are here with us this morning on this wake-up call. And I heard some people dialing in last minute, so if you didn't get to announce yourself, we apologize, but we're so glad that you are here. And like I said earlier, before we hit record, if you're watching on, I don't know why I keep saying watching, if you are listening on replay, we are so glad you are here as well. So we are in Chapter 6 of the book, 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself. And this is your first time joining us, we're so glad you're here. We do these Monday through Friday at 8:15 Central Time and 9:15 Eastern Time, and I believe that is going to be 6:15 possibly over on the West Coast. So we're so glad that you are here with us. And like I said, if you're joining for the first time, we are in chapter number 6, Simplify Your Life. I'm going to go ahead and read that right now to you, and then we're going to turn it over to Jamie and get his take on the chapter, and if there's time, I will add my take on it as well. So here we go. Chapter number 6, Simplify Your Life. The great Green Bay Packers football coach, Vince Lombardi, once asked why his world championship team, which had so many multi-talented players, ran such a simple set of plays. It's hard to be aggressive when you're confused, he said. One of the benefits of creatively planning your life is that it allows you to simplify. You can weed out, delegate, and eliminate all activities that don't contribute to your projected goals. Another effective way to simplify your life is to combine your task. Combining allows you to achieve 2 or more objectives at once. As I plan my day, I might notice that I need to shop for my family after work. That's a task I can't avoid because we're running out of everything. I also note that one of my goals is to finish reading my daughter Stephanie's book reports. I realize, too, that I've made a decision to spend more time doing things with all my kids, as I've tended lately to just come home and crash at the end of a long day. An aggressive orientation to the day, making each day simpler and stronger than the day before, allows you to look at all of these tasks and small goals and ask yourself, what can I combine? Creativity is really little more than making unexpected combinations in music, architecture, anything, including your day. After some thought, I realized that I can combine shopping with doing something with my children. That looks obvious and easy, but I can't count the times I mindlessly go shopping or do the things on my own just to get them done and then run out of time to play with the kids. I also think a little further and remember that the grocery store where we shop has a little deli with tables in it. My kids love to make lists and go up and down the aisles themselves to fill the grocery cart, so I decide to read my daughter's book reports at the deli while they travel the aisles for food. They see where I'm sitting and keep coming over to update me on what they're choosing. After an hour or so, 3 things have happened at once. 1, I've done something with the kids. 2, I've read through the book reports. And 3, the shopping has been completed. In her book, Brain Building in Just 12 Weeks, Marilyn Voss Savant recommends something similar to Simplify Life. She advises that we make a list of absolutely every small task that has to be done, say, over the weekend, and then do them all at once in one excited, focused action. A manic blitz, in other words. Fuse all small tasks together and make the doing of them one task so that the rest of the weekend is absolutely free to create as we wish. Bob Cother, who is the president of Infincom, had the most simplified time management system I've ever seen in my life. His method was do everything right on the spot. Don't put anything unnecessarily into your future. Do it now so that the future is always wide open. Watching him in action was always an experience. I was sitting in his office and I mentioned the name of a person whose company I wanted to take my training to in the future. Will you make a note to get in touch with him and let me know I'll be calling, I asked. Make a note, he asked in horror. The next thing I knew, before I could say anything, Bob was wheeling in his chair and dialing the person on the phone. Within 2 minutes, he'd scheduled a meeting between the person and me, and after he put down the phone, he said, okay, done. What's next? I told him I had prepared the report he wanted on training for his service teams, and I handed it to him. You can read it later and get back to me, I offered. Hold on a second, he said, already deeply absorbed in the reading, the report's content. After 10 minutes or so, during which time he read aloud much of what interested him, the report had been digested, dissected, discussed, and filed. It was a time management system like no other. What would you call it? Perhaps handle everything immediately? It kept Bob's life simple. He was an aggressive and successful CEO, and as Vince Lombardi said, it's hard to be aggressive when you're confused. Most people are reluctant to see themselves as being creative because they associate creativity with complexity. But creativity is simplicity. Michelangelo said that he could actually see his masterpiece, the David, and the huge rough rock he discovered in a marble quarry. His only job, he said, was to carve away what wasn't necessary, and he would have his statue. Achieving simplicity in our cluttered and hectic lives is also an ongoing process of carving away what's unnecessary. My most dramatic experience of the power of simplicity occurred in 1984 when I was hired to help write the television and radio advertisements for Jim Colby, a candidate for the United States Congress running in Arizona's 5th District. In that campaign, I saw firsthand how focus, purpose, and simplicity can work together to create a great result. Based on prior political history, Colby had about a 3% chance of winning the election. His opponent was a popular incumbent congressman during a time when incumbents were almost never defeated by challengers. In addition, Colby was a Republican in a largely Democratic district. And the final strike against him was that he had tried once before to defeat this same man, Jim McNulty, and had lost. The voters had already spoken on the issue. Colby himself supplied the campaign with its sense of purpose. A tireless campaigner with unwavering principles, he emanated his sense of mission, and we all drew energy from him. Political consultant Joe Shumate, one of the shrewdest people I've ever worked with, kept us all focused with consistent campaign strategy. It was a job of the advertising and media work to keep it strong and simple. Although our opponent ran nearly 15 different TV ads, each one about a different issue, we determined from the outset that we would stick to the same message throughout, from the first ad to the last. We basically ran the same ad over and over and over. We knew that although the district was largely Democratic, our polling showed that philosophically it was more conservative. Colby himself was conservative, so his views coincided with the voters better than our opponents did, although the voters weren't yet aware of it. Each of our ads focused on our simple theme: who better represents you? This allowed us to gain rapidly in the polls as election night neared. The night-long celebration of Jim Colby's upset victory brought a huge message home to me. The simpler you keep it, the stronger it gets. Colby won a close victory that night, but he served 11 terms and is now an Obama appointee. He has never complicated his message, and he has kept his politics strong and simple, even when it looked unpopular to do so. It's hard to stay motivated when you're confused. When you simplify your life, it gathers focus. The more you can focus your life, the more motivated it gets. Woo! That was a long chapter, and I am now going to take a breather and turn it over to Jamie so he can dissect it for us.
All right. Well, holy cow. So there's so much there, I think. But, one thing, I was listening to Hollie talk, and I had some thoughts before when I read it, and then when I was listening to her read it, I thought, you know what, it's really about something different for me. And so I'm a big Green Bay Packers fan, and so I've always kind of loved Vince Lombardi, and I'd never heard that quote from Vince, but I do know that he started they had so many great stars that came through Green Bay, and many of them at the same time, and they were loaded, but he started every kind of preseason when they'd bring him in with a simple thing, and he would always say, he would pull out the football and he would say, this is a football. And so he always started with the basics and kept it simple and really kept the main thing, but also with the end goal in mind of focusing on winning a championship. And so when you kind of listen to all of the stories and the many different things, I think it really is a simple message, right? Keep the main thing the main thing. When you have a simple message and a goal that's specific, right, then you're able to really, truly focus and simplify and eliminate distractions. Is this going to benefit, my end goal? And I think so many times we can get distracted. We live in a world that's full of distractions, full of kind of time wasters, full of comparison, full full of all of these things that can pull us away. The enemy's greatest tool, I believe, is busyness, right? And so excuses, we're all busy. That's kind of part of the deal with life. But I think when I listened, I think keep the main thing. And also we've always kind of lived by a simple thing, and we always call it the 10-second rule. And I think it kind of applies, I was listening to the story of Bob, and, if God kind of prompts you into, maybe pray for this person, reach out to this person, do this, maybe hold the door for this person, whatever it is, as simple as it may be, you have really kind of 5 seconds to really, do that. We say 10-second rule, but you really, you have just a few seconds to kind of act on that, or, chances are, I'd say 99.9% of the time, you'll just talk yourself out of it, get too busy, and then it never happens. Just think of it in kind of whatever that is in life. You can kind of put it off. You can not do it. But it's really just keeping the main thing. And when you feel that prompt, like God will call you, then you just take action. But that's, a lot easier to do when you really have, kind of a focused, specific message or a goal. I always think, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want out of your life? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Right? For us, putting God at the center of everything we do, and family is everything. So it's really easy to say, okay, this is really what is important to us. Does this lend to that? And if it does, wonderful. If it doesn't, it's wonderful. It doesn't make it perfect for everyone, but it's what's right for you. It's what's right for your goals. And it's keeping the main thing, and not trying to kind of get your hand in every cookie jar and try to maybe anytime people please, or to get out there, and kind of do a million things. It's really just staying focused, and keeping the main thing. And then the 10-second rule is really about action, right? Just do something today. Many times you have just this small window of opportunity to take action. It's so impactful. I think back on my life, and just so many times where just a word spoken by, someone that really just made a difference, or just taking the time to, pray. I was talking to Shelly yesterday. I had a long conversation, but I'll never forget the time when I didn't even know Shelly. We just come to Zervita, and he reached out, and he spent so much time, an hour, just talking to me, praying for us, and it was so impactful. And I think those are the things that we can do for others. Do we take that time? Do we keep the main thing? But then do we act on that impulse, or just kind of put it off and say, well, you can get it back to me later, because chances are it won't get back. So lots of stuff to digest there, and I'll turn over to Hollie for any final thoughts to clean all that mess up from me.
I really don't have any final thoughts at all. I think Jamie did an amazing job of summoning it up, for us both. And Steve Chandler, the author of this book, did an amazing job of putting these chapters together to help motivate us. So simplify your life. Hopefully you can take some of these nuggets today from this chapter and start to, incorporate them in your own life. If you feel like you have a chaotic life and you're stressed out, hopefully some of these tips had really, helped you today, and Jamie's thoughts on it helped you as well. So we will be back next week. And someone will be here tomorrow to do their wake-up call. So thank you for joining us. God bless you. Have a great Tuesday, and we cannot wait to be back with you.
All right. Let me unmute the lines and stop the recording. Maybe I will. I guess. Who knows?
Maybe not so fast. Oh.
All right. I believe we're just going to go being unmuted. It's not working. So, all right. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Have a great day, and God bless.